Okay, welcome
Hello.
back to Amateurs Abroad. And this time, last time we introduced you to the concept of why I'm crazy and leaving the United States partially. And this time we're going to talk about everyone's reactions and what has been the family and friends and things like that. And I think on a whole, most people's reactions were what their comfort level is. Like
Mhm.
my friend Debbie won't hardly get on a plane, and she's like, "You're crazy. Never gonna visit you. Not happening." But what did you think when I told you, "Hey, I think I'm gonna go buy a house in Italy, and I'm gonna fly there in a month and go look."
Well, I mean, I think there's always that little bit of, oh, she's lost her mind,
Yeah,
coupled with like,
that's
okay.
generous too. A little bit is generous.
But I mean, honestly, I do receive phone calls from you often with like great ideas,
Uh
and they
huh.
pan out. You do
Okay.
them, and they work out.
Yeah.
So typically they're for business though, and not for I'm
Right.
gonna move out of the country. So I mean, I was first off, I was really sad because I'm like, oh, you can't leave. Like you're
Yeah.
like one of my besties, so you can't leave the country. And he's like,
Right.
you can come with me. I'm like, okay.
Well, I do remember you saying, "Well, I always thought we'd like retire together," and I'm like,
Uh
"I
huh.
didn't know you wanted to. Like, I didn't know you liked me that much." And I was like, and then it was more exciting because I think that in my head the plan changed a little bit about, oh, good, family will want to be there,
Right.
and come. So it morphed a bit to a bigger kind of place. So
Right. Although you did try to get me to retire like 5 years earlier than I
yeah,
was.
I
You're
did.
like, can't
I
you do it
know.
now?
I
No.
know.
You
Can you
you
like
also
come now?
yeah, you also tried to get me to move into a retirement home, even though I
Okay,
wasn't of
that was
age.
totally by accident. I was just thinking my age and not your age. And at 55 and older has the best patio homes ever. And I'm 53, so I was like, hey, you're almost there. And you're like, not almost
seven
there. How
years,
old are
maybe.
you? No
I'm
way. How old are
48.
you?
No, at the time it was
Uh,
like 7 years.
oh, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Right.
but
But right
yeah,
now
no,
you're
but
48.
48, it's still 7 years. Yeah, 7 years.
So I really did like 10
Yeah,
years.
not good
I'm
math.
sorry.
That's
Sorry
okay.
about that. Just thinking of
But
myself.
so when you
But
yeah,
it still would have been good. It
it would
still
have
would have been
been,
good.
but I'm
Yeah,
not
okay.
old enough. Dang it.
Yeah, and the wait would have been too long.
Yes. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, when you called, there's always that hesitation because it is a foreign country and you just don't
Yeah.
know. But you have a good head on your shoulders. You research everything. I
Hmm.
mean, for those of us who for those of you who don't travel with us, we have spreadsheets. We have
Uh-huh.
meetings
Uh-huh.
over Zoom to like
Yeah.
coordinate ticket purchases and stuff like that. So like you're super organized. You know what's happening. You're not just well, yes, you're like I'm leaving in a month. It wasn't I'm leaving in a month and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It's I'm leaving in a
Right,
month
right.
and I've looked all these things up and I know who to contact and I've done this. So and again, because your track record is I have this great idea and those ideas have all worked. Okay, you do
Right.
you, friend.
And I think too the other thing with the preparation is that we prepare a lot before we go, but then when we're there, we roll with it. But
Yes.
we at
Yes.
least know all the opportunities and all the things available for us. And if we don't want
Mhm.
to do it, we don't do it. So
Exactly.
but at
There's a
least we
structure,
know,
but also a
yeah.
freedom. So, yeah.
Absolutely, because I don't want people to think I mean, my brain thinks in spreadsheets, but I'm not completely
Right.
like
Yeah.
nuts anal. As you can
I
tell
think that's
by the
why
way
we
it
can
flip-flopped.
yeah. I think that's why we can still travel as a family and not like kill each other because we're like,
Yeah,
listen,
right,
I'm not
right,
feeling you today, so I'm gonna go
right.
somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And we only have like one picky eater, so that's not bad. So,
Right. It's all good.
which the other funny thing is that so when your son and I went on a vacation together for his high school graduation, we went
Hmm.
to Italy and he picked it because I'm like, okay, where do you want to go? Anywhere in the world? And he picked Italy because he was like, I know I'll be able to eat the food there. Like that's how boys pick.
Right.
And then your daughter picked like, let's go to Paris because like I could take a lot of cool pictures there. So he
Right.
thought with his stomach, and so it was funny. So it's good to know. And he's been there since with me and saw my house and also liked the food in my town. So
Excellent. Yeah, I
yeah.
think my favorite part of when you took my daughter was when
Hmm.
only getting pictures of desserts as
Oh
food.
yeah,
So I'm like, you
yeah,
guys are eating like actual food too, right?
right. Well, the thing too is that they were just so much cuter than a hamburger or pizza or whatever we
Right.
got. So yeah, no, yeah. So then we did pepper in some actual proteins with those
That's good.
photos.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But I think David, our brother's reaction when I told him was like, hell Oh yeah, I'm so jealous. Like his thing was like, dang, I have to work longer. Like this is not
Right.
fair. I want to be there. So he was like all on board. And then our mom probably told me one answer and you a different answer. Like she was like, "Oh, okay. So when are you gonna do that? And what does this mean? And like, can you like leave the country? Like, so
Right.
she had more of a cautious thing, and also like, well, who's gonna like come take care of me and do stuff? You know, like,
Right.
what
Right.
happens if I fall and you're not here? And then, so that one was kind of baby steps. But I don't know. Did she say anything different to
I think it
you?
was more like, have you talked to your sister? Have you have you heard her new plan?
Uh-huh.
We'll see if it sticks. It did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it
But
did.
yeah.
It stuck. But now she's like, so in the house that I found, she has her own room, and so she's already like bought her duvet cover and her bed skirt and knows like,
Right.
her own bathroom, and she's like, it's like her space, and so she's excited about it, and she, is looking forward to spending some time. This summer she's not going over, but thank heaven because of all the not
Because there's
construction
building.
issues. Yeah. But
Like I
the
have a
house
room, but
isn't
I
gonna
have
be
to work
ready.
for it.
Yes, you do. You have to put stuff together before you can lay your head down.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So, and then my son, he was more, and he's 31, he was more like worried about safety. Like, one,
Yeah.
he totally thought I lost my mind. Not because it's out of the ordinary for me, but more like, oh my gosh, I can't control this thing. Like how, he's
Right.
not going to be around. So he was more worried about my safety, worried about who am I going to call if like I fall and break a hip, and and that he just no one that knows me can get to me fast if something
Right.
goes wrong. So I
Yeah.
think that and those are understandable concerns for your kid to have for you for
Right.
sure. But I feel like one of the reasons why I'm wanting to do it now is that I want to travel when I still have my hips working and my knees
Right.
working, and
Before you
and
fall
I
and will be breaking a hip.
right. So I probably have a good 20 years of traveling before I have to go.
Mm.
Oh, maybe I need to spend more time in the States. But um, I think that he thinks my body is older than I think my body is, and it's probably somewhere in between.
He's
But for
always
right
thought that
now,
though.
I know, right? I know. I think yeah, for sure. But I think that this is a good time.
So when you did tell like family, I pretty much know the family's reactions, but like friends, was there anyone out of like your friend group like, what are you thinking? Like that's a
Oh,
horrible idea.
for sure, the one that won't get on the plane. So my friend Debbie's like
Okay.
she travels. She's gone to like Texas and things like that. But for things like a funeral or to see family, very
Right.
important. Like not leisurely travel. Like her
Right.
leisurely travels camping. So when I'm like, hey, you want to go? She's like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I'm not going to go. No. And then
Right.
I tell her it's 16-hour plane flight and not happening. But that's a good thing for me is once you're there, then you're 2 hours from Madrid, you're 2 hours from Greece, all that. But
Right.
yeah, she thinks I'm insane. And then other friends were excited, but they're not. So I have I had Christian when I was 21, and
Mhm.
so he's older than my friends' kids are. So they're not yet in that
Yeah.
I can be out of the country phase. Like they're in college kids,
Hmm.
so they still have to kind of be around. And so, and
Yeah.
also being 53, like most people have another 12 years to retire or whatever. And they're in jobs that they can't work remotely or they can't do it. So it's more like, how is that happening? Or, that
Right.
like, and they can't make it happen from themselves right now. So I think but the cost of living is way different there too. So they probably could if
Sure.
they're willing to make changes. And so I'm willing to make those changes so that I can afford to be there. So, because my house was I mean, California standards, it's very inexpensive.
Right.
Um, it's insane.
So how are you juggling the Italy and California? Like how are you going between?
Well, I think that the big thing will be this summer, seeing how it goes. But right now, my plan is to go probably 4 months a year at this point, like 2 months in the summer. Basically, when you have vacations from school.
Vacation.
So you have an October, yeah, so you have an October break. And so I'll go in October and you'll either meet me in Italy for your break or we'll go somewhere else. But I will be in Italy the full month of October, other than if I'm meeting you somewhere. And then you have a March break. And so again, the same scenario. And then the summer, you have the 2 months off in the summer. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how it's going. Now, I will probably spend the summer there and decide if I want to spend more time there and retire early and get residency. I'm not sure. So that'll be probably later that I'll decide. So we'll see. But you were
And
saying
then
too that you would tell your teacher friends what you were doing this summer, and what was their reaction?
they did not feel bad for me for having to assemble furniture.
Yeah. Assembling
But
IKEA closets is way different in Italy.
I know. I have extended invitations to some people like, hey, one of my coworkers, she has a trip plan that might not work out just because of the location. Some stuff's
Okay.
going on at the location. I'm like, well, you can always swing by like you might have to
Yeah.
assemble some furniture. She's like, gladly.
You may
So,
need to set up the bed. I mean,
right,
also, I have mattresses for everything. I just
right.
don't have the bed set up.
It's all there. It's
Right. So if
just
you're motivated, you won't be sleeping on the floor.
that's why I'm a little bit grateful that we're staying in Madrid for a bit because we would not be motivated after a 16-hour travel
Oh, no.
flight to
Yeah.
assemble anything.
No.
So,
I over. Especially because
no.
when we get there, then we're taking a train for an
Right,
hour and a half to get there. So it planes, trains, and automobiles, literally. And so,
right.
and then figuring
And
out
we
the
don't know what the
guy.
automobile is.
But when I messaged the guy saying, "Hey, is there any chance you could pick up for the rental car? Is there any chance you could pick us up at the train station?" He didn't answer for a little bit, and I was like, "That's fine." And then when he replied back, he goes, "So sorry for the delay. I was in the pool, and I will pick you up whatever is comfortable for you." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, is this gonna be some like tan guy in a speedo coming to pick us up?" And he's like, "I just got out of the pool from my Italian villa," and I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I honestly, I got the rates are so expensive for rental cars in the summer that
Mm,
this is like a friend of a friend kind of thing. So I we could have like his kids' book bags and high chair in the back for all I know, or
sweet.
car seat. Like I don't know. I don't think this is official. Um, but that's good. I'm okay. So
It's
yeah.
transportation.
Yeah. But do
It
you find though that when you say you tell people that I'm moving to Italy, or friends that or you're gonna go in the summer, they're like, "Oh my God, I want to do that." And you're like, "Okay, do." And then they're like, "Oh, okay, never mind." Like
yeah,
they are
no,
like all
no,
ready
like
until they want to buy a ticket.
most of the time, it's surprising how many people go, "Oh, my sister is doing that," or "My brother is doing that," or
Oh, okay.
and then like I'll whip out my TikTok and show them the videos.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, this is the first floor, this is the second floor, like, oh, and then like tell them how much it was, and like holy cow, like that's something I could actually do.
Yeah. Right.
So they get excited about it, but the actually I think that one of the number one reactions is, "Oh, is she rich?" I'm
Right.
like,
Right. You're
no,
like, no, not rich,
no,
not rich. So, yeah, and tell everyone in Italy that I'm not rich either, so that I'm not getting like American prices on things.
right,
But
right.
but I
I'm
am
like,
Italy rich. Like or
yes,
Sicily rich. I'm definitely Sicily rich because
yeah,
their average income is like 1,200 a month, and there's that's supposed to cover food more. But the food is
everything. Wow.
incredibly inexpensive. But like I try to, when I talk to Americans about how inexpensive food is and stuff, like, I mean, it's cheap, it's cheap, it's cheap, but to them, it's not cheap because it's just affordable. It's
Right,
affordable, but it's so much better quality than we have. But yeah, I'm not America rich at all.
right. And I'm like, no, no. She's just like, what's her job? I'm like, she
Right?
doesn't. She's an entrepreneur. She does,
Yeah.
she just
And they're like,
does
oh,
a
is
lot
that
of good
phone
stuff that
broker?
work out. What? Yeah, they're like, oh,
Oh, an entrepreneur.
okay. No.
Which, I mean, let's say that I do floral preservations for brides' flowers and stuff. So it is seasonal with the wedding seasons, and also it's a 12-week kind of cycle. So there's a part that's, the flowers are all drying, and then you're waiting, and then
Hmm.
also you do the flowers, and then it's curing for months. And so when that's happened is when I'm going. So I do have a real job, but I have it planned in a way that, and I also do stuff with renovating furniture and things like that. So I always am doing something kind of different, but self-employed. So I am not, in fact, a pole dancer or anything like that. I
That is
do have
good. That's good
yeah,
to
yeah,
know. I
Although
mean,
nothing wrong with it.
right.
I just don't think I'd make as much money
I
doing
don't have
that
the
as
upper
I
body
do.
strength.
I don't think I'd bring in as much as doing the flowers and the furniture, that's for sure. So I
Gotcha.
had to have a backup plan.
Nice.
Yeah. But I do also find that, and I don't know if you've noticed this, that so mom's really excited to go and stuff, and she'll tell people. And I find that we've had more relatives than we've had in a long time. And
Right?
not equal to like if you win the lottery, everyone comes out of the woodwork, but
Right.
definitely it's like, hey, how's it going? We haven't talked in like 25 years. Yeah, I know, we haven't. Hey, but now that I have an house in Italy, we do. So, but I think too that with the house, it's important for me to have our family and our
Yeah.
our all the nieces and nephews are adults. The youngest is what? He's 17,
17?
and
Yeah.
I think so. And the 17 to 31, like we don't have babies around. Like
Right.
these are grown people, which also the men in our family, your son and my son are 6'5". Like they're not little people either, which is when I'm, designing the shower, I'm like, hey, the shower head has to be
They have to fit.
higher. They're like, are you sure? And then Sean
You
was with me when I was there the last time, and I'm like, stand in this and show him.
right.
And David, we were looking at a different house, and we're asking, can a bathroom go in here? Can a shower go in here? And he's like, yeah. And David's like, but I don't think I can fit. And he's like, no, it's no problem. And I'm like, David, stand in there. And he stood in there, and the roof is hitting him. And he's like, oh, all right. So you guys are
like
big
I
people.
gotcha.
Like,
Nope.
but definitely with both your son and David, we would get looks like as if I had security, like
Oh yeah.
Secret Service was walking with me. So,
Right? We should
yeah,
get them
because
little
they're not.
outfits.
I did say like if I have two at once, I want them to wear like the Men in Black, like dark
Right.
sunglasses, and just
Yes.
talk into their wrist and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so that way we can have. It looks like I'm some kind of. Well, that would
Right?
definitely make me a rich American, right? Oh gosh,
Right.
yeah, that's not good. We don't want to go for that. So, but I
Although
think
that also affected the purchase of the beds too, because they're so
oh
long.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I couldn't get something equal to California King there.
Mhm.
If I did, I would have to order it from Amsterdam or Holland because they
Oh.
have big people in Holland. But short of
Tall
that,
in Holland.
it was
Good to
not
know.
going to happen in Italy. Yeah. And I'm like, you guys aren't going to be there long enough. You can just fetal position a
Diagonal.
little bit. Yeah, let's talk. So, so I don't know. So I think everyone's reactions were really telling more where they were with the comfort level. And then also, they want to travel and come see me. And I mean, I don't think a lot of people will because it's a big deal to travel. I think everyone has intentions,
Sure.
but it's hard with time and stuff. So I think it's
Mhm.
just going to be our family more, which is fine, but friends are welcome too. No one's getting
Yeah.
a key, but friends are welcome too.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Sounds like a plan. I know I'm
I
excited.
know. I know. I am too. I'm very excited. I just want it to match what's in my head more than the pictures I'm seeing
Right.
from the progress.
Yeah. It's hard
So,
being this
yeah.
far away while stuff's going on at your house.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's Jeff and yeah, it's challenging. So, oh well. So I guess let's wrap it up and then next time, I don't know what are we going to talk about next time?
I don't even remember. It is. Nope.
About how I found the house, just finding it, the first trip. So,
Oh yeah.
which was highs and lows for sure, which you can attest to. So,
I mean, they
that
were
one-
very entertaining lows
know,
for the rest of
I
us.
think
Not so much you, but we were having a good time.
I know. Oh, yeah, and also putting me in a 5150 hold. So I think you might.
There might have been a group chat without your involvement.
Right. Oh, okay. So next time we'll talk about that one.
Yes.
Okay, so remember to follow along, subscribe to us, and then go to TikTok or Instagram and follow, and also ask any questions there you want us, any topics you want us to cover. So thanks and have a great day.